Some girl crossed you. Just bad luck.
Yeah, for her. You got a bit of a problem. I'm looking for a girl.
Was this an amorous inquiry?
She killed everyone on my last job. I just need to talk to her.
Do you mean actually talk? Because sometimes when you talk, people end up at room temperature.
I'll be gentle.
Who the hell are you?
Where's my money?
Christ! I needed him alive. It was a big score until you put a bullet into my own. You killed him again?
Last time, I promise. Here.
Oh, you're such a gentleman. Thank you. No, thank you.
What's the score?
We're gonna rob an entire country. Sunken treasure, Parker. Worth $1 billion.
The Arentero was an ordinary ship. Her story is stuff of legends in 15th century Spain.
Skip it. No story. Just tell them about the plan.
I want to know the story.
There's treasure. It'll be in New York tomorrow. That's plenty. I don't trust you. We're bringing in our own people.
Where did Parker get this baby gap?
So this is the crack team taking on the mafia, a billionaire, and an army?
Shouldn't be a problem.
What he said, it should be a problem?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, should not?
Yeah, should
Okay,
not.
great.
You can't take down an entire organization. I got an army.
-2 last time I checked.
Nice shot.
That was close, huh? Sure was.
Let's go.
Take a beat.
You ever think maybe you just like stealing?
Oh, only with you, my friend. Merry Christmas, Parker.
Merry Christmas, Schofield.
Welcome back to the SWAU's official channel. I'm Bryan, your host, and this is a conversation with the stars. And what a star she is currently starring in Play Dirty on Prime. It's the lovely Claire Lovering. Hello, Claire. Welcome to the show.
Hello. I wondered how you said it. It's SWAU.
SWAU, yes, SWAU. It always throws people off, but they're a big American company that provides celebrities to conventions and does signings with people like Robert Downey Jr. and Harrison Ford and Kevin Costner. So, yeah. But you know what? I'm so honoured to have you on the show. This film is absolutely astonishing on so many levels, and it's a type of film that I love because it's very intelligent. It's written and directed by Shane Black, who we know is well renowned in the industry. For me personally, Shane Black, The Monster Squad, which is one of my all-time favourite films. I don't know if you're aware of that film, but it's a film of the late 80s. And I think any kid that was a child in the late 80s will know The Monster Squad. It's one of the best films ever. And he wrote it.
He wrote it. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But let's talk about Play Dirty. So first of all, how did you get involved with the film and what drew you to the project?
So I just got an audition through my agent and looked at it and thought, I'll never get this, but I'll give it a go. And because it's also when Robert Downey Jr. was originally attached to play Parker as well. So it was quite a long time before I ended up stepping on set. And I just kind of, it was one of those tapes where I kind of wasn't really feeling it. And then my partner was like, just have fun with it, just do a playful take. And I did, and that's the one I ended up sending. And then I didn't hear anything for months and months and months. And during that time, Robert Downey Jr. was swapped out or, couldn't do it because of availability. And then Mark took over. And then I got a call from my agent like 4 months later saying, play dirty. And I was like, play dirty? What's play dirty? Because I hadn't even like watched the tape back. It was one of those ones that I was just like almost like sending it like this, like, oh God, I can't wait. And then he was like, and then she said, so Shane loves you. And I was like, what? And then I ended up meeting him a couple of days later and chatting about the role and the film and our love of theatre and comedy, and then I got the offer like maybe a month later. So yeah, it was pretty amazing, and one of the I just never expected this to be a role I would get, but I'm so delighted that he saw something in me and took a chance on me, and it's really paid off.
Do you know what I love about this film is that for me, there's no sort of main characters. I think everyone plays such a unique part, and it's like an ingredients of a cake. You know what I mean? You've got to get the right ingredients to make a great cake. And this film, you shine so much in it, which I think is great. And the scenes that you're in, you really steal. But we will talk about that. I mean, when Robert Downey Jr. fell off, and then we got the lovely Mark Wahlberg. Did you know that when you accepted the role that Mark was attached, and what were your thoughts? Because the cast that you're surrounding yourself with is incredible.
I know. Yeah, by that point, Mark was attached, Rosa, I think Lakeith as well. I didn't know who was playing my husband until I remember I was in a fitting, and the costume designer was like, oh, it's that guy. And I was like, what guy? What guy? Just what guy? And then I remember like, she was like, oh, the one from Key and Peele, not that one, no, the other one. And I was like, oh my, I remember in that fitting room, I was in my fitting and I was like freaking out. But no, I knew some of the cast, but yeah, once I was cast, then I think they I remember reading they'd announced Nat Wolff, Tony Shalhoub, Chakudi and Keegan Michael Key. And that's when I was like, well, this is a stacked movie.
And it must be great to be on set and work those acting muscles, that you have opposite such great talent along with yourself. So I want to speak about Keegan, because I love that guy, because believe it or not, I have such an issue with pronouncing names, and I love when he does a sketch of mispronouncing names. Honestly, I think I should just take that on as a bit at the beginning of the show when I introduce people. Just get it completely wrong, because it always does my head in. But I wanted to ask, because your chemistry on screen is just incredible. And do you know what? It reminds me of my marriage, to be fair.
Oh, really?
It does, yeah. Me and my wife, we act like we hate each other, but we actually really love each other. And we just always have jibes at each other, but comical jibes. Do you know what I mean? And It's a bit like Brenda and Ed. So I wanted to ask that the chemistry that we see on screen, is that just natural, or did you have to work prior to that? Because it's just incredible what we see on screen.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, he we ended up, we didn't meet until, normally I would love to like if someone's playing my husband or partner or a friend or a sister, I love to kind of like go out for dinner and have, time to kind of build that rapport off screen, because I think it really translates. But I think he just flew in like a few days before we started filming. So I only met him the night before our first day on set. And we ended up going into a room with Shane, the three of us, and we just mapped out our feelings and our ideas about the relationship. We just made some really quick kind of choices, that they'd been married for 10 years, that they did it because they get a kick out of it and they love it. They're not kind of desperate and they don't really need the money, but they get a real kick out of it. And then it was already in the script initially anyway, but yeah, that kind of that bickering, that they kind of, they know how to get under each other's skin. They know which buttons to press. I think Keegan liked the idea that they'd done some couples therapy. So, when you say that, it makes me feel like when he says, does that add value? We decided they'd done a bit of, a few sessions maybe of couples counseling as well. But but then we kind of like, once we kind of had that initial rough sketch, we just kind of would come onto set and we'd chat about what we wanted to do with the scene or any ideas we had. But he is such a warm, kind, sweet person that it's very, very easy to have chemistry with him because he's so engaged and generous as an actor. So I was really thrilled to kind of like feel that ease with him very quickly. And he, when you work together, you work long hours and you sometimes work through the night, and you kind of like we're there at 3 a.m. eating cheesecake from the crafties, being like, so what was your childhood like? You get to know someone on quite a deep level, because you spend so many hours with people, you really fast track those relationships. So the more we were on set together, the more we were able to build that rapport. And I'm really, really happy that you feel it translated.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, what we see on screen is quite fast paced in certain scenes with you and Keegan. I mean, is everything said? Is that off the script, or was it ad-libbed, or was there moments that you wanted to explore further out of that script?
Yeah, the script was amazing. Like, I remember when I read the script, it was before I met Shane, and I just remember it being a real page turner from start to finish. And I just remember how cool and witty the dialogue was. And it's just that classic Shane Black dialogue. It's dry and it's dark, and he called it gallows humor. So we wanted the comedy to be kind of, I like the idea that they're twisted people. So the stuff they says is kind of, it's just got to be quite clever and dry. And then once I kind of got a sense of the style of the movie and the tone of where the dialogue was, Shane was really keen for both me and Keegan to bring our ideas. So I did a lot of planning and thinking and ruminating, and I was, I'd sit at my desk for hours kind of looking at, because, you're in this ensemble piece, so you don't necessarily you might have one line in the scene, like, so what's the plan? So you need to kind of like, it's hard sometimes to think about how you can add comedy or add value in that regard. So I'd kind of sit and think about it and just ruminate on it. And then, we'd come in and we'd Keegan and I would chat, and then we'd kind of pitch our ideas to Shane, and he'd sort of want some and some, and then we would kind of just play as well on the day. So there's a lot of ad-lib in there and improv, but also there's some amazing text that was there when I read that script that's still there now.
That's awesome to hear. And the one thing I like to watch is that, when people are delivering their lines, watching the people in the background, I'm always fascinated because it must be quite hard to make sure that you're not stealing the scene, but you're still being seen, if you know what I mean. And you get some actors out there that I just think that maybe trying to steal the light from away from people. But it's just fantastic. It really is. I mean, if you could describe your character of Brenda in 3 words, because she is a unique character and she's very quirky, but you can't use the word quirky. If you could describe her in 3 words.
Oh, okay. She is fun, cheeky, savvy,
and very stylish. I want to talk about her style because I'm sure my daughter has got one of a hat very similar to the one that she wears in the train station part.
Oh, really?
Did you have any say in what you wore? Because, again, the style of Brenda is quite unique, especially when she goes in disguise.
Yeah, Kim Barrett, our costume designer, was really collaborative, and we started in an interesting place where she was wearing like kind of 80s style snow gear, like woolen jumpers, because it was Christmas. We kind of had like ho 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 jumpers and funky hat, like snow boots and that sort of thing. But then Shane said he wanted me to be funny, not the clothes to be funny, which was a great note that steered us in a much better direction, I think. And so then we went for sort of like Gigi Hadid off duty. We looked at a lot of kind of like her in New York. So that's where we went. We started to go for the matching tracksuits because I think, they need to be kind of incognito and practical. but she's not as kind of badass as Rosa's character. So she doesn't have like, you know, the leather pants and the boots and the kind of, she's going to whip out a gun. She's more kind of like, you know, comes in and does the disguises or that sort of thing. So that's where we kind of landed on tracksuits and trench coats, and it's the most comfortable costume I've ever had.
What,
and I walked to set.
The tracksuit? What,
the tracksuits. Everyone like, yeah. Everyone be like, oh, you all right? Yeah. Must be nice. But then the disguise, we liked the idea of kind of hiding in plain sight. So, you know, sometimes when people are hiding, they do something bigger that throws people off rather than something else. We tried a lot of wigs, and we settled on that blonde wig with the cap. And the glasses was obviously to cover the eyes, but we still wanted to see my eyes for the acting. And my contribution was we gave her a mole somewhere, which I enjoyed. I like to give my characters a mole sometimes. When I started out in theatre, that would always be my thing, is my characters would have a mole. But it was really fun. I really loved that that scene. Shooting that was really fun.
And did you manage to keep anything from set? Did you manage to take that tracksuit home with you?
I wish. I had friends texting me last night about this, actually, because they just watched the movie and they're like, did you get to keep costumes? I got to keep the cream jumper with the yellow stripe because we had doubles of that. But the track pants with the yellow stripe were vintage and they were one of a kind, so I couldn't keep them. And I don't think I particularly was wanted anything else as much. But so just the top is my memento. I like to keep an item from a character after a job, but then I have trouble wearing it because it feels like a costume and it feels like a character thing, but it's a nice little memento of the time.
I'll be terrible. I'll be taking everything, like literally set, dressing. I'll be like taking everything from everyone.
It's tempting, but you don't. I once did that early on. I'd been part of like a theatre opening, and I went home with my costume, and then I got a call from the costume designer the next day saying, "Did you steal this? Can you please return it?" And I had to kind of make a really shameful drive back. So it kind of has put me off taking stuff without asking because it gets other people in trouble.
And you have so many great scenes in this film. Have you got a favourite that you really enjoyed from a performance point of view on delivering?
Yeah, I really loved being in when we took over that train station. That was really fun to play with because we had this kind of room full of extras that we could kind of throw lines to and see how they'd respond. Not extras, they were supporting cast. But you know, like the line about Bruno Mars, I made that up because I thought he looked like Bruno Mars. And you know, like, did you push the button? Like, we added that, so then she got to be like, yeah. And I love the woman in there. She's like, yeah. She does this kind of like. So it was fun to kind of play. Like we had this room and I think we did it over 2 days, but just to kind of like be able to hold a group of actors hostage and they kind of have to respond to whatever you throw at them was really, really fun.
Which is great because when you've got people to bounce off, I think that's when you get the best comedy, especially when they're not expecting it as well. Keep them on their toes.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was really funny because you can't see, but when there's the original planning of the takeover, we're of like, you know, this is how it's going to go, and then they show it, and we kind of get in there, and everything goes perfectly. They had a different set of actors playing the train staff, and they all looked kind of like almost like avatars on video games. They were all really like ripped and attractive, and kind of, but also quite like. Quite still, and it was really funny when we went to film what actually happens that they were all a lot more unique and more kind of like reflective of society, which was really cool because then I just found that awesome as well that they went to that detail of casting two different. There was like when everything goes right, we've just got these kind of like avatar people that and then on the day I'd take that cast any day though. They were awesome.
And talking about obviously bloopers as well, because you can't have a film this funny and this witty without things falling apart because of people laughing. I mean, how much fun was it on set? And did anyone, fall out of character or laugh, or did you have to cut at any point?
I think everyone did a pretty good job of holding it together. I know the scene where we're all planning around the bench and we've got the map rolled out. When Chai Hansen, who plays Stan, when he was doing this stuff with Mark, like, you're doing a great job, and that sort of stuff. Like, there was a lot of improv going on between there, which was really awesome to see. And I remember really struggling to kind of get through that. You can see me in the back. I'm kind of eating a nut and smiling, and I think that was I was genuinely really enjoying that. But it was great because my character was allowed to enjoy it. But I think it was mostly we mostly kind of held it together. I think there'd be a lot of like cut, and then everyone breaks into laughter. But everyone did a pretty good job. I mean, I'm sure there'd be bloopers though. If you watch, I'm sure there would be. But everyone was pretty good at holding it together.
And do you think we'll ever see a sequel? Because we need to see Brenda again. We need to see Ed again. I think that this could be like the new version of Ocean's 11, but more fun.
That'd be great. That would be great. I mean, there would definitely be a world in which there could be a sequel. I think they've set it up really well. And I think Ed and Brenda haven't done a bad enough job to kind of like write them out of the team. Like we fumbled a bit, but we came through. So I think there's a world in which we could pop up again. So we'll see how it goes.
Fingers crossed. So Shane Black has got to get on it to write a sequel ASAP. And then I wanted to ask Mark Wahlberg. He's a big star. And you hear so many stories about actors having egos before they walk into the room. What was he like to work with? I've got a picture of him. I mean, to look at him, you must have been disgusted. I mean, you know what I mean? He doesn't look that, he's like a genetic experiment, isn't he, really? Perfection. I mean, what was he like to work with?
He was so great. He's such a professional. He keeps to himself in between takes. He kind of like just watches. He doesn't like, he's always sort of surveying. I think like but he set a great example in that he was there to do the job. He knew his lines. He was always on time. He respected the crew. He would have a laugh, but he was, he wouldn't break in the middle of a take. He was there to do the job, and it just set the tone of like a really professional and a really great work ethic. And at the same time, he's so loyal to his team. He has them all, he's been with the same team for like, I think maybe 20 years. And they are all there and they're like family to him. So there's a beautiful kind of loyalty there that's really inspiring to see. But yeah, he's just a really great guy and really like looks out for everyone and sets a great example. So yeah, it was really inspiring to work with him.
Thank goodness you said that, because I love this man and I love his films. So I always get scared about that. But obviously you're not going to say, horrible things. I mean, he's a nice man. So before we move on to your incredible journey from Australia to Hollywood, why should people go out? Well, not go out, should I say, stay in and watch this film on Prime?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You get to watch a Hollywood blockbuster, a Shane Black, classic, gritty, funny, action-packed heist film from the comfort of your own home. And it's like from start to finish, it's an amazing ride and it's so entertaining and so funny and it's just a star-studded cast. And it's really easy viewing for all ages. Me and my boyfriend don't really have much crossover on the things we like, but this one we both really enjoy.
Oh, isn't that good when you both can enjoy a film? Which is good. I mean, my wife will always say, right, has it got the president in it? Is he being kidnapped? Do you know what I mean? Because that's the sort of films I like. But we do enjoy, and she enjoyed this film, which is good. Again, really, really good. So I want to talk briefly on your journey from Australia to Hollywood. So currently, where are you right now? Are you in the States, I presume?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Excellent, because I've interviewed quite a few people while they've been in Australia, and that could be a bit of a pain with the time difference. Because obviously being in the UK, it's completely the opposite. So when did you first know that you wanted to act? Was it a childhood dream, or was it something that came later?
I think it was a childhood dream. I think I wanted to be a teacher to begin with, but then I went through some old school books recently, and I in French when I was like 8, I'd written obviously I didn't do very well at French, but it was something like je voudrais une actrice. I wanted to be an actress, I wrote in French. So I was like, there was thing there early on. But my mum taught speech and drama. My mum's English, actually.
Okay.
So she's taught speech and drama to the kid in our house on a Monday night to kids in the neighbourhood. So I started doing speech and drama with her from the age of 8. And so, that was like drama games and, competitions and Trinity exams and that sort of thing. So I started very young, but I never really thought I would be good enough to do it for a career. I mean, even now I'm still like, it's going pretty well, but you just never know. I think it's healthy to always keep analysing. And then, when I was 16, I won this national drama competition that I'd waited to turn 16 to enter, and I beat kids. It was 16 to 24-year-olds, I think, and I won. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I might be better at this than I realised. I might be, because I grew up in Perth on the west coast of Australia, so quite isolated from the industry in Australia. And mum and dad didn't want me to get an agent as a kid. They wanted me to kind of just be a kid. So I didn't really have a sense of whether I would be where I sat within everything. And then, that competition was a bit of a kind of hint that I might be better at. And then when I turned 17 and finished high school, I auditioned for WAPA, which is the West Australian Academy of Performing Arts, where Hugh Jackman went. And I got in. And I thought, okay, I got in, I guess I'll do it. And then I remember just the first week I was like, this is heaven. This is like, I can't believe I get to do this. It's voice, it's drama, it's dance, fencing, acrobatics. And I can't and I felt like I'd found my people. And then I graduated and moved to Sydney and have been doing it ever since, but not without, challenges and really asking my, dark nights of the soul. Wondering if it's the best, course of choice for me, but it just keeps reeling me back in, and I kind of feel like it chose me in a way.
And growing up in Australia, were there any actors or performers that you looked up to when you were growing up?
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, my favourite TV show is The Office. So Ricky Gervais has always been a big comedic inspiration to me. I remember like being obsessed with that from the age of 10 and like ordering the scripts online and reading them, and like that's always been kind of like comedically my North Star. But in terms of acting, I always loved Cate Blanchett and Meryl Streep. And those, anyone that I think the thing about acting that I really love is being a chameleon. And I remember in my 3rd year of drama school, I really wanted to play the lead in this Alan Ayckbourn play, and I didn't get it. The teachers made me play this other role, which was I played 4 different roles, 1 different character in each act. And but actually, the amazing thing was I unlocked something for myself, which was I loved transforming and being a chameleon and being unrecognizable. And I just took so much delight in giving them each a different gait, hairstyle, accent, and that's sort of been the thing I've chased ever since is if someone doesn't recognize me, and so being a chameleon is something else I really, really aim to do, which I love about Meryl Streep. I think her ability to transform is incredible.
She's an amazing actress, amazing. I mean, are you permanently in LA now, or are you like between countries?
I'm permanently here now. I have my green card to be here, and in February of this year, I sold everything I own in Sydney and gave up my apartment, and I'm living out of 2 suitcases right now.
Wow. I mean, what's been the biggest culture shock for you going from Australia to the States?
Well, I have to say water. Otherwise, no one understands. I think tipping's pretty tricky, but I'm getting my head around it. But honestly, LA for me, like once I got here, it felt really like where I am meant to be, and I feel like I'm at the center of things. And I love how friendly everyone is here, and it does remind me of Perth a lot, where I grew up, in that it's sort of like wide streets, you drive around, blue skies, really sunny. So culturally, like it felt, you'd think there would be kind of like a lot to adjust to, but actually it felt like, it actually felt almost like coming home. I think as well, growing up, I love reality TV. So I'd grown up obsessed with kind of like Laguna Beach and the hills and shows like that, Real Housewives. And I remember like when I first got here, I did a TMZ bus tour of Beverly Hills. And I was just like, it was like a spiritual pilgrimage. And I was just like looking out the window being like, this is amazing. It's where I've kind of like always wanted to be. So it feels pretty amazing to be here.
And how many times have you been asked, are you British? Because I don't know if it goes the other way, because the reason being is that every time I go to America, they think I'm Australian.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So is it the opposite way for you? I mean, has anyone mistaken you for not being Australian but being British?
I think maybe. It's hard to know, because Americans, they're like, oh, you have an accent. And I'm like,
Yeah.
You have an accent too. We both have accents. But they think that their accent is, neutral and everyone else. But I don't know that they're as good at picking Australian versus British. They just are like, you have an accent. So I don't think I've gotten the British thing that much though. But I have played British in a show called North Shore on Netflix. So I've just played another British character on a show that's going to come out on BBC called Austin. It'll be season 2. So I really love I love that I've now worked in an Australian American and a British accent on screen. It's nice to have that kind of ticked off.
And I've heard your British accent. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. You wouldn't have guessed. You're like Gwyneth Paltrow in Sliding Doors. I never knew she was American when I watched that. And then she had such a good British accent, and yours is very good as well. I mean, when we talk about Australia and the States, what's the biggest difference between the sets? The film sets. Is there differences in the way of the culture of how it works?
I think it's pretty similar. I mean, there's sometimes you'll do something called French hours, which is where you don't take a break. As a it's not everyone tools down, go have a break. It's kind of like a rolling break. So the A camera operators, they might all kind of step out and have lunch while the B cameras are setting up, and then the actors, if they're not needed while they're setting up lighting, they'll kind of have a bit of a break. So that's something that's a bit different. Sometimes the terminology is different as well. Like I remember on my first day, Shane was like, let's do a series, and that was a term I hadn't heard, which in Australia we'd just say we'll just keep the camera rolling and do a few in a row.
Yeah, which is plain and simple, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but now I know. But I guess also like craft services, that's something on US sets where there's somewhere allocated that is just turning out food and snacks all day long, rather than like you eat when you have lunch and you eat when you have breakfast. That's amazing. That never gets old. And it's something to do. You go visit crafties and see what's on offer. But yeah, and also I think people have a few more like personal assistants and people that kind of like come bring them water and stuff. But apart from that, like it's pretty similar.
You said it.
Maybe bigger.
You said water, like you went water. You said,
Really?
you did it naturally then. There you go. You're picking it up. Before you know it, you'll have one of those LA accents, and then with Australia would have lost you. You know what I mean? I mean, what has been the biggest challenge of going from Australia to Hollywood, and what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned from a performer's point of view for anyone that may be wanting to cross the pond to make it in the City of Angels?
I think the biggest challenge is, I've gone from being in Australia, playing lead roles and making a really great living from voiceover work, and I've having a beautiful life by the beach in Bondi, an apartment, and I've had some people be like, "What are you doing? Why are you leaving that all behind to start again?" So it's sort of like being a big fish in a little pond, and now I'm kind of like putting myself back in a much bigger pond. And my answer is I just have to know I tried, and I have to give it a go, and I feel ready for the next challenge. So, but it has been challenging to go from being established in an industry and knowing all the casting directors and the directors and being pretty settled to kind of like starting from scratch in a way where people don't know who I am, and trying to kind of reconnect and reestablish myself. But I'm really excited by the challenge of it. I feel ready for it. And I think the biggest lesson I learned was last year I came here and I was a little bit protective, I guess, of my process. And I was like, well, you know, I know what works for me. It worked for me in Australia. I'm not going to kind of like do too much. I'll just like keep doing what I was doing there. And this year I have decided to do a completely different approach, which is to really put myself out there and do classes. So I'm doing classes at Groundlings now, which is kind of sketch comedy and character comedy, and just putting myself out there to meet people. And rather than thinking, you know, I know what works for me, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Now I'm like, I'm in this amazing industry town where there's, you know, I can go sit in and audit an Ivana Chubbuck class, who's like this amazing acting coach who I read her books when I was at drama school, and then I'm just like sitting in this room watching her give direction, and I can, you know, love a comedian on Instagram, and then I can go watch them live on the weekend. And so I feel like I'm really like in the center of things, and now I'm really kind of like embracing that, which has been the biggest lesson.
That is awesome. Do you know what? I was listening to you so intensively then, I forgot what my next question was. I was thinking, right, you know, that's a difficulty of doing interviews. Literally, you've got to have the list of questions, but I find it fascinating. I really do, because, you know, it's such a challenging industry to be in, with the ups and downs, the rejections. I mean, with your career, have you got a plan in place? Like, you know, of manifesting who you want to work with or achieve, like in 10 years' time?
Yeah, I mean, if I showed you my desktop wallpaper right now, it's a vision board.
Awesome. What's on the vision board? Just name a couple of things.
Oh, it's like just like a Deadline article that I've edited to be like. I don't know. I'd love to. I can't. I'm a bit superstitious about saying it out loud, but like, I'd love to do an HBO series, something like that. I'd love to work with Mike Lee, the director. I'd love to write, produce, and star in my own work. Now that I'm at Groundlings, I'm really keen to kind of like see how far I can go in that kind of structure. You can kind of progress and end up as part of their main company. So my plan is to just keep doing what I'm doing, but also, write, produce, keep up with the comedy. I mean, I haven't pulled the trigger on making funny videos online, but if it comes to it, I'm not above it.
Do you know what? Social media is crazy. It really is, though, because literally you can have a kitten. Funnily enough, I've just got a kitten, and you can have a kitten, make a video of it, and get millions of views. It's crazy.
Totally.
So there you go. Yeah. Funny videos, add a kitten, and then you're sorted.
Perfect.
Do you know what I mean? Before we bid farewell, I've got a poster here, and I just wanted to find out a bit about it. DIY.
Oh yeah.
What's happening with this? Where can we watch it? How can we watch it? Is it out yet?
So it's a short film that we filmed last year here in LA, and it's a horror comedy. And Damon Herriman is just the most extraordinary Australian actor who's had a very, very successful career in Hollywood. He's a very dear friend, and so basically we filmed it. It premiered at Sydney Film Fest in June this year, and then it just played at Scream Fest on the weekend at the Chinese Theatre in Hollywood, and then its next stop is Austin Film Fest next week. So I don't think it's like, I think because it's still doing the festival circuit, it's not available for viewing just yet, but it's a really funny, dark horror short with some really great twists.
Do you know what? I love short films because they just give you like a concentrated burst. You know, you get the story, and it's not over like an hour and a half. But do you know what, Claire? Thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Everyone needs to watch Play Dirty because it's such a great film, and I look forward to everything that you do in the future. But thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all your amazing questions.